Another day, another update on Caspa for the Caspa community. First and foremost, just want to say thank you to everyone that's still, out here supporting these updates. Yes, Caspa's price has seen quite a nice move over the course of the last few days, but in a grand scheme of things, in terms of overall interest, it is still quite low compared to what we have seen in the past. So, people that are still here, thank you so much. You guys know I give you guys Caspa updates no matter what, whether the market is up, whether the market is down, bearish sentiment, bullish sentiment. No matter what the case may be, we bring these updates for you guys. So please subscribe to the channel and have your bell icon on so you're notified every time we upload. So as of today, going into Friday morning, looking across the board, as far as the 24-hour time frame is concerned, still seeing a lot of bullish momentum across the board. We did see a little bit of a minor pullback for some coins, but market was able to rebound. Just take a look at the last 1 hour alone. You can see a nice bounce across the board. Caspa up 3% just over the last 24 hours, but I'm sorry, over the last 1 hour. But if you look at it from the daily time frame, we're down about 7.3% right now for Caspa. But people will forget that Caspa has been on this upwards run and it's outpacing a lot of coins. If you look at it on a weekly time frame, up almost 50%. On a monthly time frame, now you're looking at a lot of other coins that are down 30, 40% still, but you're seeing Caspa only down about 1% right now on the monthly time frame. So of course, it's rebounding, it's showing strength, and that is something we want to kind of take a look at. And about a 7.3% pullback shouldn't be a big shocker to anyone, especially when you look into the other facts that I've just pointed out. But before we get into any further, though, as always, just a quick disclaimer: anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So Caspa's price 5.7 cents, down 7.2% in both Bitcoin and USD comparative right now. Valuation 1.52 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume at $64.3 million. Take a look at the dominance index. We talked about this last night, where we saw this major spike for the dominance came out of nowhere, to be quite frank with you. But you can see, we topped out at 59.37%, a level that we've been talking about for quite some time on the channel. You can see, this was resistance over the last three times, and we've retested this three different times over the course of the last 1 week alone. And since then, we've seen the dominance kind of pull down, and hopefully it continues to pull down. That would be a great sign for altcoins specifically, especially with what Bitcoin is doing. Bitcoin right now could actually end up breaking out. What I mean by that is, Bitcoin actually saw a nice healthy correction. So I really like the way Bitcoin is holding first and foremost. You could see for yourself, we saw a nice move, Bitcoin consolidating within this key range just below the 0.50 fib zone. But, we came down to $90,896 and boom, back up to, where we were prior to that, and about to retest the significant $91,800 key resistance that we retested a few times. Breaking above here takes us back into the 0.50, and closing above here would be a very bullish sign in my opinion. So as far as Bitcoin is concerned, looking great. This rebound itself for Bitcoin over the last 1 hour or so is playing a good impact on some of these coins, pretty much the entire market. Actually, take a look at it for yourself. But as far as Caspa is concerned, so Caspa's price ended up retesting 6.2 cents price point. So we were able to break above 6 cents. Again, in terms of our targets were spot on, literally spot on Caspa. And you can see for yourself, I always like reminding you guys, just over the last 1 week alone. Yes, this is not over the last 1 month that we're talking. Just over the last 1 week, Caspa has been able to, pull in about a 74% increase. So almost 80%, increase in just the last 1 week alone. But that's not the exciting part. I'll tell you what the exciting part is. Remember the October 10th lows? I'm sure you guys know about that. We actually got very close to, the rebound that we did see after, the October 10th wick down. But, nonetheless, we are retesting levels again, that we have not seen for Caspa since early October. And that is very interesting. And if you've been watching the channel, you guys know one thing I say every single time. You cannot see Caspa running the way it has and just completely, pulling back down. You just cannot see that happening. You want to see the price of Caspa consolidate. Of course, when Bitcoin sees a retracement, do expect some volatility. And even if the market were to rebound, if you tend to see, Caspa see a little bit of a lag against the market, just not forget the bigger picture. It's up 75% in the last 1 week. So you might see some of the profits that people made off of Caspa allocate into some other altcoin. That tends to happen. Maybe you don't like hearing that, but that is a reality. This is why diversification is your number one key to follow, and locking in profits is number one key to follow as well. And my overall, strategy is if you're looking at your portfolio, it's too much money that you cannot afford to lose, then you don't need to listen to anyone. You just need to lock those profits in. Simple as that. But as far as the price of Caspa is concerned, you can see for yourself, we do have some obviously support built up around here. I'm just showing you guys the closer time scale. If I were to zoom on the weekly time frame, there is, support built in around this key range dating back to 2023. As well as early 2024. But you can see for yourself, we are starting to range around this key level. We actually wicked down to 5.5 cents. Again, a level we are well familiar with. And since then, the price of Caspa did rebound about 6%. So, really impressed with the way things are still looking. Again, we did retest a new, monthly high at 6.2 cents. We saw a retracement of about only 12.53%, and that is due to Bitcoin. You cannot forget Bitcoin came down to $90,755. That is going to have an impact on Caspa, but it's still holding really nicely right now. That support is playing out for us in moments like this. So, still like what I'm seeing here, today as of Friday, I would like to see the price of Caspa closing the weekly candle and going into the weekend, most importantly above 6 cents. I think that would be a very bullish sign. And I think that is a very realistic thing to be looking forward to. Because that's only a move of about 6% from where we currently are. So if Bitcoin is able to get back into the, 0.50 fib zone, dominance pulls down, I think this could become a reality. But we want to see the bulls really try to push the price of Caspa above 6 cents for the daily close. I think that would be quite something. But we got to take it one step at a time. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys personally think. What's your overall strategy on Caspa? But you just cannot forget. I continue to remind you guys. Yes, Caspa seeing a very nice, impressive move right now. There's no secret about that, right? But what I'm trying to get at is let's not ignore, Caspa's price action. We've seen major swings, major, patterns of swings, up and down. You can see for yourself for Caspa, and that is due to low liquidity. But that makes me wonder now, what if Binance or, another big exchange comes and lists Caspa finally? Could that really have a positive impact on the price? Me personally, in my opinion, yes. I think Caspa has already retraced down so much, from our yearly high, which was just for this year, I think it was around the 78.6, yeah, 15.5 cents. We've retraced down 77.57% just this year alone. So again, if we were to see a big exchange like Binance coming on board, but it's already on Binance futures, but on Binance spot, they still have not listed Caspa. If that were to happen, I think this could be a big thing. So obviously, those are factors that we'll see what happens. But based off of what I've seen in the past for projects, that never really got that Binance listing, and then finally were to get that Binance listing and see that price action, I do expect Caspa could pull that because a lot of liquidity could flow in, and we could see something exciting. But again, that's just me speculating at this point. We've been talking about Binance for quite some time. I still don't understand why they have not listed it, but again, there are some rules and regulations that they have to follow as well. So I'm not really sure in terms of that. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think. This is how my overall outlook on Caspa is currently going into Friday morning. Thank you so much for all your support, though. And we'll see you later in Crypto ZX and peace.